Okay, welcome back to another episode of Ham Radio on the Go, and today's video is a podcast discussion as there's a threat to the 900 megahertz amateur radio band, and we're going to discuss what's going on. Join us. Okay, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for watching. Let's get right to it. This is a podcast discussion. I've learned this a couple of days ago, and I've seen a few videos on it already, and the ARRL has put out a statement, but I feel it's important to just keep repeating it and getting the word out to the amateur radio community, because there is a threat to the 900 megahertz band from commercial interests, and the ARRL is sounding the alarm. Let me read to you a portion of what the ARRL released on August 15th of 2024. They are urging protecting the amateur radio 902 to 928 megahertz band. The Federal Communications Commission has accepted for public comment a petition for rulemaking filed by a corporation called NextNav Incorporated. They already are licensed in the 900 megahertz, and they're into location and monitoring service, LMS for short, and they want to completely reconfigure the 900 megahertz band, 902 to 928, and there's some of the release right there. You can freeze it and look at it yourself. But they want to replace the LMS service with a high-powered 5G cellular and related location services. From what I'm reading, they want to be able to track whatever they need to track on a more pinpointed basis. Let's say you're in a building, they'll be able to ascertain what floor you are in the building with this high-powered location services. The FCC notice requested a comment on the effects that NextNav's proposal would have on the amateur radio operations in the band. ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, is preparing comments and urging protection of existing and future amateur uses in this band, and urges all amateurs to file their own comments describing their activities in this band. And you can click the link if you go on the ARRL website, and you can get more information. NextNav, like I said, currently already holds a license in the 900 megahertz band, but they want to be the sole proprietor of the license on that band, essentially pushing out amateur radio and a lot of other commercial interests that are already on the 900 megahertz low power type of equipment that uses RF on the 900 megahertz band. There's a whole host in addition to amateur radio that uses the 900 megahertz band. The GPS system they want to incorporate, they are arguing the implementation of this proposed system would complement GPS by providing an alternative nationwide terrestrial location system in addition to cellular and broadband services. Under the proposal, NextNav would be designated the sole nationwide licensee, like I said, for this spectrum in exchange for its more limited license at this time. The new nationwide license would authorize NextNav to provide much high-powered traditional broadband and 5G cellular services, as well as related location services, occupying 15 of the total of 26 megahertz of the band, and create a 5 megahertz wide uplink subband and a 10 megahertz downlink subband, and the 5 megahertz uplink subband would be limited to use by mobiles, and so on and so forth. So this is a high-powered network, which up to 2,000 watts ERP would be permitted in rural areas, and 1,000 watts ERP in urban and suburban areas, radiating from tower structures that could reach 1,000 or more feet above average terrain. So this is a massive system. So this is something that we have to stop. So what do? We do simply, we got to get on the band. We got to generate activity. We got to file comments. Definitely that is the first step. On this channel, I always support underutilized bands like 220 and 1.2 gigahertz, but I'm going to focus some attention in the upcoming future on 900 megahertz. That's a commercial release by Alinco, the DJ G29T. It's a HT that has 900 megahertz, and that's the advertisement. That radio's been discontinued, but we need to get on the band, and that's a little difficult because there's few commercial choices to get onto the band at this point. Besides commercial, a lot of hams will homebrew 900 megahertz from commercial gear and place it onto the amateur radio band, and that's an example of it right there. Those are Motorola radios that are being sold every day on eBay for a substantial savings. They're used radios. You can see how cheap they're going for. They just need to be reprogrammed onto the amateur radio band. So there are a few choices. They're not many. I know the Quansheng with the firmware mod upgrade does put you into the 900 megahertz band, so that is also a choice. But in any event, we need to get onto the ARRL website, file a petition, follow the links, file a petition with the FCC in support of keeping the existing band plan in place, keeping amateur radio as a secondary basis on the band so we can continue to use it, and more importantly, get on the air with 900 megahertz equipment. That's the only way we're going to save these big chunks of spectrum that commercial interests have their eyes on every day. We hear about it all the time. A few years ago, the ARRL pretty much saved the 400 megahertz band from commercial interest, and now it's the 900 megahertz. So they won't stop coming. We got to do our part. The ARRL seems to be doing their part. Let's all get together and make our voices heard and try to save the 900 megahertz band. I'll be putting out some videos promoting 900 megahertz and trying to do my part to shed some light on this important topic. So there you have it, a threat to the 900 megahertz band, and what we can do as amateur radio operators to get our voices heard and to get our voices heard on the air as well. Comment below and tell me what you think about this serious situation, threat to the amateur radio spectrum. Like and subscribe for future videos of ham radio on the go. Don't forget, check the description for any updates on this important topic. Thanks for watching, everyone, and 7-3.